Hello, everyone. It's Linda from Linda's Ease in Arlington Heights, Illinois. And this again is part of the series of the hooping projects that we have started. I really wanted to give you some very simple, basic 101 tips and ideas on how to hoop different types of fabrics. You see, I don't even have a machine here. I do have some stabilizer, but the stabilizer isn't the most important thing right now. What I want to teach you to do is how to actually hoop the individual article, and everything is a little bit different. We have one of the series is on today is going to be on woven fabrics, and that means not only a garment but a quilt. If you're going to do a quilt top and you want to do the embroidery design in it, this technique I'm going to show you is good for that too. But I'm also going to do another video for you on knit fabrics. You can see I'm wearing a knit top today. It's got the little Minnie and Mickey on a swing, and there's absolutely no puckering on this because of the fact that it is done on a knit fabric with the right type of hooping. I'm also going to do something on a frame that they call it a magnetic sash frame. It's very new in the industry. We had it first with a larger frame, and now we've even, one of the vendors has come out with one for a 5x7. So there'll be another series on that. And we're breaking them down to individual types of fabric and what the hooping technique is for it. So I hope that helps you. I love your comments. Thank you so much for bringing them in. Say you're out there and you're new at this and you've never done this before, and you want to have some techniques, and maybe it's not even hooping. Maybe it is a fabric, or maybe it's a stabilizer, because we're going to throw a little of that in. But I definitely want you to know the technique for actually taking this hoop. This is the under hoop. And a lot of people don't realize this, that there's a top and a bottom, of course. This is the bottom. And you can usually tell the bottom with the piece that slides into the machine. So I'm going to pull a little screwdriver here because this was put in real tight. And I store my hoops quite often like that. In fact, it's still too tight. And see, this little screwdriver really takes and releases the outside part, because there's a spring in here at the bottom. And there is a real definite feel to this, as I've said in some of my other videos. I'm going to give you technique, but you have to practice this, and doesn't take a long time. So if you practice it, you will really get it. Now, what I'm doing here, I'm going to hoop this shirt. I'll pull it over here because I want you to see it. I think it's really a fun one. Little glass of wine maybe in the morning. No, at night maybe. Then you can see the little grapes, and this is going along the back. And then there's a little one on the shoulder too, right here on the shoulder of the sleeve. I'm going to put a hoop on here. I probably will put a little monogram or something over here. I usually don't like to do too much monogramming on a busy shirt like this, but I just wanted to show you something that was already done with the stabilizer that I have, and how to hoop a woven fabric. So I'm going to take that off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and cut this fabric, this stabilizer, and because I'm going to use this hoop, it's a 4x4, I'm going to take the top one off, I'm going to put the bottom one on my stabilizer, and you see how I have quite a bit of space all the way around the hoop? That's very important when you're starting this. Do you need to use a rotary cutter? No. If it's an off grain, don't worry about it, because that's not a grain project that you're doing. Now, this stabilizer is going to be not in the hoop. If it were tearaway, which we've used before, then we would put that in the hoop. And we've done some videos where we show you just tearaway. But on this particular fabric, this is what we call a heat and stay fusible, but it's a temporary fusible, and it's a tearaway. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this heat and stay, and I'm going to press it onto and see, it's a pretty good size, and it doesn't have to be smaller. I'm going to take it over to the iron here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually press that onto the back side of the woven fabric, and approximately in the area where this is very hot already, and you start in the middle and you press out, And this, like I said, is a temporary fuse. So don't worry if it doesn't go all the way up to the corners. It doesn't need to. But you can see I've got it on there pretty nice now. And then I'm going to take this over. I let it usually cool for a minute. Then I will take this over to the hoop. And remember, your bottom hoop goes underneath. You want to look and make sure this is the bottom of your hoop where your design, especially if it's a directional design, that your design is going down, not up, not to the side, unless you have a machine that you can rotate with. But at this point, I'm just going to put it in here because I have a machine that has a camera on it, and I can easily, it doesn't matter which way I put this in here because it will all go evenly. Now, you can see I'm going to bring it up a little because I have a pocket on here. And if I start hooping the pocket, what do you think will happen? It's going to be much harder to get it in. And I've loosened the hoop a little, and I'm going to put the stripes up and down because it's a little easier for you to see. And I start on one corner, I press on this corner, then I have my finger and my thumbs over here. And again, it's getting into that hoop, into that pocket. It's not going to sew on the pocket. It's just that the hoop is the bottom of the pocket. Now, if I were working with a fabric or a garment, now that, see, I just loosened it 2 more times, and look at how nicely I got this into the hoop. But if I were working with a place like this, you see on the sleeve, I did not use the same type of stabilizer, and we're doing another video just on how to hoop real hard to get into areas. Now, I'm going to check it on the back. If you've watched any of my other videos on hooping, do you see how that's nice and smooth? It's a little, tight or taut, but it's not too tight. What would happen if it was too tight? You're right, you'd get puckers right there. So I know this is working right. I don't have to tighten it anymore. But what am I missing? This is a woven fabric, water-soluble topper, and you're totally right. I have my little perfect stick tape all ready to go that I put on here. And years ago, seems like many years ago, but I think it's since COVID, they've actually taught us some things, that the lick and stick is really not the best way to go anymore. And the magic tape actually works better. I mean, even if you were using a little sponge from your office supplies, this little tape is really a better way to do it. Do you see how I put it into all of the corners? And now that's going to hold it. There's enough stabilizer on here that I can now easily go in and make a beautiful design. I want to show you a couple of quick things that I did that are, well, this one. This is a little mask. And I do use quite often the this heat and stay. It's a temporary fusible, but when it goes into the stitching of the mask, it will stay in there. And you can see I use the water soluble on here. This is a winter mask. It's got the evergreen trees, and it just really pops out because I've got the right stabilizer on. I have one other garment that I want to show you, and I've shown this before in a video, but it's hard to kind of see, but if you see the dolphin there on the back, I don't know if I'm getting it when I shine it, and then there's a little seahorse on the front. And this was done the exact same way. We come up from the bottom. First, we take that fusible stabilizer and press it on the back. It depends on how busy the design is. I did not put a water-soluble, I don't think I did on here. I did not. Because if I see a design is very transparent and it's quite open, then I usually don't put the topper on there. But if it's like this one, which has a little bit more stabilizer on it, then I will put it on. I mean, a little bit more design in it. It's a little heavier design. But the techniques are exactly the same using a stabilizer. I like to hoop whenever I can with a fusible. So I hope that gives you a couple of ideas. Again, this is called the Heat and Stay Tearaway, and it's a temporary fusible. And then this water soluble. And of course, when you're through hooping and you've done your design, you're going to pull all of this stabilizer away as much as you can. You don't want to really keep it in there. So again, I think we've completed everything that we were talking about. I know that we have some wonderful events coming up this next month, so I hope you're going to check our website for them. And again, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week, and I'll see you back next time.